probably the last thing I want to cover off is where do you see in the next little bit, because over the last 2 years, no doubt you've seen some cafes fall off and go out of business.
Yep.
Is it as many as you thought? Is the first question, and then the second question is, do you see that accelerating now?
Look, I think for quite a long time, like I'd say pre-COVID, for about 3 or 4 years, there was a massive influx of people coming in from overseas buying cafes to get residency. So, if there was a really good cafe and then another one 300 or 400 metres down the road and they're both doing really, really well, all of a sudden you got 2 more right in the middle of them.
Mm-hmm.
That was just one side of it, but also more people got into wanting to own cafes. So there was a glut. We had a cafe in Armidale at the time, and 3 doors down, they were killing it. We came in. They decided that if we took 30, 40 kilos a week out of that system there, that they couldn't survive losing 10 to 20 kilos a week.
Mm-hmm.
It was a bit like a Subway franchise, one opening up a kilometre down the road. So it's not dissimilar to this in the coffee game.
Yeah, and we both know from having run cafes before, you got to get your coffee up to a certain point, and then
it's profitable.
Then that's the only way it becomes profitable, once it's over that threshold. And if you drop anywhere around that threshold or below it, you're cooked.
Yeah, and especially when coffee at the retail end is quite profitable for the cafe owners. It's high labour
at scale. Yeah,
it's high labour, and it's low dollar purchase, $4 or $5, as opposed to sitting and having a $25 meal. Right, that's equivalent, 5 or 6 cups of coffee. So it's high turnover for coffee to make the money, but
if you can extract a lot of cups out of that barista per hour that they're working, then it becomes economical. But you need to extract that amount of cups on per average hour type of thing.
100%. But the other thing that we noticed through COVID and post that period is COVID has a lot of the weaker cafes have gone out of the system. And I guess it's given reprieve for some of the ones that have remained now. They're becoming a bit better, more buoyant. The city's still a bit of a tough one.
Yeah.
And we've got clients. We lost 17 of 21 of our clients in the city, never to return. So that suburban versus, we'll call it urban or city. Yeah.
That's been a revelation, hasn't it? All these suburban cafes smashed it, obviously, because no one's going into the city anymore. But the government's effectively decided we're going to put every single cafe out of business in the city. That's what they said.
So what we're seeing now, though, we're seeing a lot, like you've got a lot of even good restaurant cafes. They would open up for breakfast and lunch, and then be prepared for dinner and have a great restaurant and bar trade. What we're seeing now is a lot of those businesses are not doing breakfast and lunch. They're just opening up for dinner. Right, and they're still very popular at night time. The problem you've got is you've got a massive floor space.
You're paying rent.
You're
paying rent in the morning and lunch.
Yeah. So what we're seeing a lot of is bigger venues during COVID splitting it in half, or shutting down and moving it close by to a smaller venue, rejigging their operation to a smaller operation, maybe getting rid of breakfast and lunch and doing dinner. There's people we'll still travel to go into the city to have favourite restaurants
and booze,
and food, drinks, absolutely.
And we know that, let's face it, a restaurant, if you got chairs, you have to sell booze.
Yeah.
Otherwise, very hard to make money.
So, and a lot of the cafes that are remaining at the moment, they're just not doing the volume that they used to do. And when you speak to them, they say things like, it's great in theory that everyone's back in the office, supposedly, but now what's ingrained is work from home. So you've got someone that's full-time, 5 days a week in the city, normally there. The building's got 10,000 people in it. Well, a lot of them are saying you can have Friday or Monday off. So they're saying Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursdays are quite busy, or Mondays and Fridays, it's a waste of time.
I was talking to a cab driver who picked me up at the airport the other day because I came home on a Friday night. And I said, have you had a busy night, da-da-da? And I said, Friday nights are usually busy. People out in the piss, da-da-da-da. And you know what he said to me? He goes, not anymore. I go, why? He said, everyone works from home Mondays and Fridays now. So the whole idea,
Friday night drinks,
the whole concept of after work drinks is finished. It's gone.